Welcome to Mom Matters. I'm your host, Alyssa Dver, and in the next 10 easy-to-watch minutes, we're going to give you some practical ideas for productive parenting. Our topic today is raising charitable children, and joining me is Heather Jack, our expert. Heather is the president and founder of the Volunteer Family, which is an organization that matches families with opportunities for volunteering that they can do together. She's also the director of programs at Crossroads Community Foundation and is responsible for $500,000 in grants to nonprofits. And on top of that, she's the manager of the Youth in Philanthropy program, which helps teach young people about charitable giving. You're also the mom of 2 little kids, 1.5 and 4.5, right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here today. We're very happy to have you as our guest today.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, my first question is kind of the global question, and I'm going to kind of relate it to my own life because my 2 little kids have 4 sets of grandparents. And it's crazy during holidays and birthdays. They're just gifts coming in all over, and you know, it's very exciting and all, but at the same time, I'd really like to teach them the value of charity. Right. So what do you suggest?
Well, one great thing to do is to volunteer with your children. This really conveys the values that you want of compassion and understanding. Children are also able to learn new skills, they learn civic responsibility, and they are able to meet people from different backgrounds.
That's great. So actually doing something together.
Right.
That's a great idea. So with 2 little kids, and you have little kids too,
Right.
What are some of the kinds of things you can do together that work with that age group?
Well, you're really at an advantage when you start with children when they're young because you're establishing the basis for a lifelong habit that will continue as they grow.
Sure.
And they will pass on to their own children. So I think it's terrific that you want to start with your children when they're young. Some great things to do with children who are at that age are visiting a resident of a nursing home, or you can make cards for children who are in the hospital, or you can just participate in a sing-along.
Oh, that'd be fun. I bet they'd love that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what about older children? You know, after the age of 5, they're not so eager to go with mom and dad to do these kinds of things of any type, really. But
right,
you know,
right.
So what kind of activities are really good to target with that age group that's older?
That age group is actually a little bit easier because there's a wide range of things you can do. You can do the traditional volunteering of helping to serve food at a soup kitchen.
Okay.
You can deliver Meals on Wheels to the elderly. You can, if you have a child that's into the environment, you can help clean up a public park. If your child is interested in animals, you can do a pet food drive for animals in need.
Okay.
Or you can just decorate cookies and bring them to a local shelter.
That's great. A friend of mine recently had a birthday party, and her son decided that everyone should bring presents for dogs like dog toys, that they were going to donate to one of the shelters.
Right, right.
So, yeah,
so it's very simple.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, some really great ideas. One of the things that I've noticed too is volunteerism is kind of a trendy thing in some ways, and on a lot of applications that I see, I do a lot of interviews for my alma mater, my college alma mater. I see that these kids really are going to great extent to put volunteer opportunities and things that they do on their resumes.
Right.
And it kind of pains me a little bit because I think their motivation, you know, obviously is to make it look like, you know, they do all these things on their own, but I'm sure a counselor or a parent encourage them.
Right.
Is that a bad thing when, you know, you kind of force a child to do that? Is it a, you know, good thing, bad thing? What do you think?
I think whatever the motivation, volunteering is a great thing to do. It's great for the children, it helps the family bond, it helps them become closer, and it's great for the community. A lot of nonprofits in the community are understaffed and overstressed, and they could really use the help. So it's a terrific thing to do, no matter what the motivation.
Well, that's good to hear. We're going to take a quick break just now, and we'll be back with Heather, who's going to tell us a little bit more about how we can make these opportunities a reality in our own lives.
It's important for us to get involved so that Lauren could see, you know, what people do to help other people, and you know how you can get involved and be active in your community. So
I'm starting toys for kids who don't have any, and for people who don't have Christmas presents.
And Cradles to Crayons is great. All the stuff that they can give you, the kids. I have a son, and he can have a lot of stuff, and these kids don't. So it feels good to just give back.
Welcome back. We're here on Mom Matters with Heather Jack talking about how to raise charitable children. So Heather, great ideas about things we can do. How do we find these opportunities?
Well, you can log on to our website, thevolunteerfamily.org.
Great.
Yep.
Let's do that URL one more time.
Yep.
It's www.thevolunteerfamily.org. The Volunteer Family, all one word.
All one word,
Great.
right?
Okay.
And that is a terrific way to find opportunities right in your own neighborhood. So when you log on, you're able to put in your zip code, and you can find opportunities that are very local.
Excellent.
So this is terrific. Another way to find opportunities is by calling your local volunteer center or United Way.
Okay.
They often have terrific ideas. So.
Excellent, excellent. Any tips when you decide what to do with your family? You say, I want to volunteer. How do you do this as a family, and what do you tell your kids? Do you not say anything? You just go do it, or do you prime them in some way?
I suggest discussing and deciding as a family what you're going to go do.
Okay.
So this is a great way to learn about your child's concerns. For example, are they concerned about homeless people? Are they concerned about the environment? Are they concerned about animals? So you really can learn from your child when you discuss this with them. It's also a great way to discuss the values that are important to you, to your child. So I suggest the first step is sitting down with your child, discussing their concerns in terms of how they can give back to the community. Also discussing how they want to give back. Would they rather volunteer to benefit organizations locally or internationally? And if you combine a giving component with this, it can really strengthen the process. So if you combine your own charitable budget and decide together where you're going to donate your resources, this is a terrific thing to do as a family. And I suggest in that case having a child donate part of their allowance or the money that they've earned to the process.
Oh, that's great. Great ideas. Any other resources you can suggest? Because there's obviously a lot of things to consider when choosing the right volunteer opportunity for you and your family.
Right. Susan Kreitz-Price is an author of a terrific book called The Giving Family, and I highly recommend it. You can find it on Amazon.com.
Oh,
it's
good.
a terrific book.
Excellent. Well, that's going to wrap up today's show. I want to thank our spectacular guests. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure,
Great
thanks for having
information,
me.
Heather Jack with the Volunteer Family. They are also our sponsor for today, so thank you in many ways. Our blog is http://mom-matters.blogspot.com, and there you can find information on our previous shows as well as our future shows. And speaking of which, our upcoming show is called Working Out, Is It? And we'll be talking with a fitness expert about how to optimize your time while you're at the gym, sweating away in that aerobics class. So for Mom Matters, this is Alyssa Dver, where we're sharing practical ideas for productive parenting.